Welcome to another video. In this video, we are going to build the exact same lead pipeline 3 times. Once in Zapier, once in Make.com, and then in Anyden. And we are going to connect the Google form to Google Sheets and then send that data to Airtable and then send a notification to Slack and then send an email through Gmail to the potential client. And the best part is, I'm not just showing you the setup. I'm also going to break down which tool is fastest to set up, which one give you the most flexibility, how authentication work for Gmail, Slack, and Airtable, and which platform I would pick for you. So let's start without any delay. And before we jump into the live build, let's quickly talk about what we are actually creating. Here we have a Google form where leads fill in their name, email, short message, are the services they need. As soon as they fill in their name, that data drops into the Google Sheets. And then we have to update the records in Airtable to keep everything structured. And then we have to inform the team in Slack that we have a new lead. And then we have to send the email to the potential client to give them first smooth impression. So that's the full flow. And we are going to build this exact same flow in all three platforms: Zapier, Make, and Anyden. And just so you know what the output actually look like, in Zapier this will be a zap with one trigger and three actions, which means it counts as three tasks every time it runs. And in Make.com you will see a visual scenario with four modules linked together, one for each step, and you can literally watch the data bubbles flow through it. And then in Anyden, you will have a workflow with four nodes on the canvas: Google Sheet, Airtable, Slack, and Gmail. And you can execute once and actually see the JSON output from each node. Like in this case, we have a JSON output from email node. So even though the logic is same, the way each platform shows you the output and the way they count steps is a little different. So this is going to be a great demo because it covers triggers, data mapping, third-party API auth, and conditional logic, and both external and internal notifications. So everything you will see in the production. And I have already set up my Google form and connected it with Google Sheets. So whenever a new lead comes in, the response is automatically saved in the sheet. From there, we can use that sheet as our trigger to pull the data and kick off our automation. So what I will do now is put in some dummy data in Google form, and for the name I will just type something like Simon, and for the email I will use a test email address so we can actually check if the message gets delivered. And for the phone number I will add something like some dummy number. And in the message field I will paste something a client might realistically ask. Then I hit submit and the response is saved. Now if I open up my Google Sheet, I will see all the data neatly stored here, and we are ready to move ahead and start building the automation. So let's start with the Zapier first, because honestly Zapier is the most beginner friendly. In Zapier we build what's called a zap, and every zap starts with a trigger. Then we have action, and for this zap we will choose a Google Sheets trigger here. So we have two types of triggers, and in trigger event you can see we have two types of trigger. One is instant trigger and other is polling trigger. So for this case we are going to select new or updated sheet row. So every time a new row is added, this zap automatically triggers. And then we have to sign in with our Google account, and Zapier makes it super simple because they uses auth to connect any Google services. Now we have to give Zapier access to our Google account. So I will just select this Google account, and we have to click continue here to give Zapier access to our Google Sheets. And once that's done, now Zapier is able to pull data from our Google Sheet. As the new row added, it will automatically triggers this app. And once that's done, we just click on continue, and then we can select our spreadsheet and worksheet. So I will just select the spreadsheet that where all the Google Form responses are being saved, and we can also select our worksheet here. And you can select any trigger column if you want, but it's not necessary, it just runs anyway. So just click on continue, and here we can test our trigger. So just click on test trigger, and here our trigger is working perfectly fine. So we will be testing after every step. Now that we have got our trigger working, we need to do something with that data. So the next step is Airtable. And from all the action steps, I will choose Airtable here. And in the action event, we will choose a create record because we want to create a record inside Airtable each time a new leads come in. So now we have to connect our Airtable account with Zapier, so it can update the records in Airtable. So Zapier uses auth for Airtable now, and we just have to add our resources and base to connect the Airtable with Zapier. So just grant the access, and once that's done, then we can just hit continue, and now we can select our base and table. So just select the base and the table from your Airtable. And this is the fun part. Now we have to map data manually. So I will just put the name into the name column, and email into the email, and phone number into phone number. And in the message placeholder, I will just insert the message that we got from the lead. And then we just click continue, and we will now test these steps. And now we click on test, and now let's move over to Airtable so that we can check whether the records are updated or not. And here it is. We have all the records updated in Airtable successfully. So for the next action step, let's notify the team in Slack. So I will search for Slack and select it. And from the action event, we will choose, I think we will choose a create channel message. So let's search for it. And here it is, send channel message. And then we have to connect Slack to Zapier. Now we have to connect our Zapier account with Slack. So I will just allow Zapier to make changes in our Slack workspace. And once that's done, Zapier is able to send messages to our Slack. And now click on continue. And now we can select our Slack channel. So I will select lead alert, and you can select yes or no, it's up to your choice. And then we have the message text, and this is the message we have to send to our team. So I will write something like, hey team, we just got a new lead. And I will add key details here like name. So select the name here, and then we can also select the email, and then we can also select, if you want, we can select the phone number, and then we have the notes as well. So, and we pull all this data dynamically, so it will change every time a new lead comes in. So there are plenty of other options like send message as a bot, or you can even schedule a message, like there might have an option for that. Yes, you can even schedule a message at specific time, but for now just click continue, and we will test this step. And once it's finished, let's move over to Slack. And here it is. We have got a message here. Hey team, we just got a new lead, and all the details mentioned here. So this is working perfectly fine. And the last step here is to add an Gmail action step to send an email to the lead, and just select Gmail, and we want to send an email, so select send email as an action, and then select a similar process as we have done before. So just select your Google account and click continue, and give Zapier access to use your email. And once that's done, then click on continue. And for the to field, I will add the lead's email address from the Google Sheets, and I also add the from email. So I will add my email or business ID here from which I want to send emails from. And then we have the from name. But let's skip that and we will move to the subject. And for the subject line, I will write something like thanks for signing up. And in the body field, I will write some message, and I have just written it as well. I will just paste it here, and we will personalize it with their name. So I will just add the name, hi Simon, thanks for getting in touch. And then we can also have our company or company name in the end, and we can also send some attachment with this mail. But for now, let's click on continue and test this step. And once that's done, let's move over to Gmail, and here we have the email. Now let's open up this email, and we have this subject line here, thanks for signing up, and we have the body, hi Simon, thanks for getting in touch, we received your message. So that's exactly what we sent from the Zapier. And now we just publish this Zap. So whenever a new lead arrives, it will automatically trigger this Zap. And now this Zap is published. And what we do now is, I will just put in some dummy data in the form. So I will just put in some data and submit it. And here in our Google Sheet, we have all the records. We have the name, email, and we give it few seconds to process that data. And here we have in Airtable, and we have our data here. Then in the Slack, we receive our notification here too. And in the, let's move over to Gmail, and here we have this email. So this Zap is working perfectly fine. So that's the full Zap. Google Sheet trigger, Airtable record, Slack message, and email sent to the potential client instantly. Super smooth. Now a quick reflection here. Zapier is fast and clean. You can go from zero to working automation in literally few minutes. And one key downside of Zapier is cost scalabilities. As workflow grows, you quickly outgrow the free plan or need higher tiers, since every action counts as a task. Even a simple automation can become expensive in compared to make.com or N10. Zapier doesn't let you build advanced logic flows like branching, loops, or heavy data transformation without hitting limitations. It's designed for simplicity, which is great for beginners. But if you want deep customization and want more control that how data moves between different items, Zapier will feel restrictive. But overall, this is why Zapier is so popular with beginners. It just works. Okay, now let's switch over to make.com. Make.com is very different in style. Instead of Zap, in make.com, we build what's called a scenario. And inside a scenario, every step is called a module. We drag modules onto the canvas and connect them visually left to right. And in make.com, we have also got two types of trigger: polling trigger, which I usually name watch something, and instant trigger. And in our case, Google Sheet is going to use a polling trigger, which is named watch new rows. So let's build it. And now we will rename this scenario to something like automated lead response. Now the first module we have is Google Sheet with watch rows trigger. And here we need to connect our Google account. So click on add, and then we will rename this connection first. And it's always a good idea to rename the connection properly, because later when we build advanced scenario with multiple modules, we will be able to quickly identify what each module is doing just by looking at its connection name. And then click on sign in with Google as the similar step that we have done in Zapier, and just click on continue, and it is waiting for the authorization from our Google account, and we will wait for a few seconds. And now it's connected. We choose the search method, which is basically how make.com will find the Google Sheets. I will go with search by path and then select the drive. From there I will just pick the spreadsheet, and I think I have moved it to some folder, and it might be in YouTube. So let's check this. And here we have, yes, here we have form responses. So I will just select this spreadsheet, and now we have to select our sheet. So I will just select the sheet as I named it like this. So yes, our table contains headers, and we have the headers from A1 to E1, and then we have the limit. I will just keep it to default 2. And then after that it asks for the ID for the starting point. So I will choose all. With that done, make.com will now keep an eye on any new rows that get added. Next, just like before, we need to push that data into Airtable. So let's search for Airtable and select create a record, because we want to create a record inside Airtable. And now we have to connect Airtable with make.com. And we have two type of connections here: Airtable tokens or keys and Airtable auth. But actually API's keys are deprecated in the last January, because API's keys are not secure than the Airtable auth. So I will just rename the connection here, and I will rename it like something like updating records. And now click on save. And now we have to give access make.com to our Airtable resources and base. So give all the required access to make.com to make changes in Airtable. And once the connection is verified, we are able to select our base. So just select the Airtable base, which is leads, and now we have to select our table. So now select the table, and table is also, I have also named our Airtable table as names. And now we have to map that data. So I will just map the name into the name field and email into the email, and similarly for other field as well. And now I will just put message into the message placeholder, and then click on save. And the next module we are setting up is Slack. So search for Slack, and click here, and just search for create a message, as we have to create a message inside channel. So now we need to connect Slack to our make.com account, and just select Slack as a user. And now we have to give access to our Slack workspace to the make.com. So click on allow, and just waiting for the verification. And then we have to select our channel ID or channel name. So we will change it to select from the list, and then we have to select the public channel. And then in the channels we have all the list, and I will select the lead alert here, and in the text I will just said something like, "Hey team, we just got a new lead." And then I will make it dynamic by adding the lead email, name and phone number and other details. So I will just add the name, email and phone number, and then the notes for the team. And it is what the we got in message from the lead, and just click on save. Now we have got our Slack module fully set up. And the last module we will add is the Gmail module to send email to the potential client. And now we will search for Gmail and select send an email. And then we have to add our Google account in this Gmail module. So sign in with Google and select the email that you want to send email from, and click on continue, and then allow access to the make.com, and then hit continue. And here we have an error. So this is the restrictive scope error. And if you are connecting with the regular Gmail account, you will often face the restrictive scope errors. And the right way to do is to configure the auth consent screen in Google Cloud Console. And here in make.com documentation, everything is given in detail, and you can go through this documentation for in-depth guidance. Now here in Google Cloud Console, first thing we have to do is create Google Cloud project. And for that we have to go to the test project drop down, and here click on test project and create a new project here. Give it some name, something useful, like I will give it some name like make.com demo. So I will just name it and then hit create, and it will take few seconds to spin that project. And let's go to the test project again, and it's creating, and just wait a few seconds. And now once it's done, we can select that project and make sure that this project is selected. Now go to the navigation bar and click on API and services, and now go to the library section. So in the library, all the Google Cloud or all the Google services APIs are in the library section, and we will search for Gmail here. So search for Gmail, and now click on this Gmail API, and now we have to enable that API. So just click on enable, and let's go back to the home screen. And if you want to enable other APIs like Gmail, Google Sheet or Google Docs, you can also enable that. But for now, let's go to the main dashboard and click. And now we have to create an auth consent screen. So click on auth consent screen, and now click on get started. So now the first thing we have to do is give this app some name. And I will write something like make.com demo or make demo, and then we have to add a user support email. So I will add my own email. And in the audience, if you have a Google Workspace account, then select internal. Otherwise, if you have a regular Gmail, then select external. And in the contact information, just add your Gmail, and now click on next and click on finish. So and click on continue and hit create. And now we have to configure the auth client ID, and this is what give us the client ID and client secret. So let's click on create auth client, and now the application type should be the web application. And now we also have to rename this application. So we will keep it the same, and then we have to add the authorized redirect URI. And in our case, this URI is given in the make.com documentation. So just scroll down and we have reached the end. Here it is. Here is a uDirect URI you need for Gmail and Google Drive. So just copy that URL, and we will just copy that URI and here paste it in, and not this, here add URI. Paste this into this section and now hit create. And it will take a few seconds, and here we have the client ID and the client secret. So just click on OK and we will access this into the clients. And now click on client. Yes, and here click on make.com demo, and here we have the client ID and the client secret. So just copy that client ID and go back to make.com, and here enable these advanced settings, and here paste this client ID here. And now go back to the Google Cloud Console and copy that client secret. You can even download that. After a few times it will not be available. So now copy paste that client secret here, and just before you sign in with the Google, we have to publish that app, or if we want to keep it in the testing mode, we will need to add our Gmail here. So go to the audience section, and here we publish status is testing. So now this app is in testing mode, and if you want to keep it in test mode, so just add your email in the test users, or otherwise just make it public. So we will publish this app, and I will hit confirm. And now this app is published. So now go back to the make.com and sign in with Google. And now the process is similar. Just select your Google account and click on advanced and go to make.com. This is the previous name of make.com, and hit continue and give all the permissions to make.com to access our Gmail account, and it's waiting for the authorization. And now the process is similar that we have done before. Now we have to add the two email subject and the content or the body of the email. So for the two email, now add a recipient, and in the recipient I will just fetch the lead email, and that is I will obviously we will make it dynamic. So I will just add the email, and for the subject line I will just write thanks for signing up, and here signing is misspelled, so, and thanks for signing up. And we want to make it more personalized, so I will just add the name of the lead. And then for the content, I will already have that content, and I will just paste it here, and I will just paste, hi, thanks for getting in touch, we received your message, and I will just make it personalized too. So I will just add name and the message that we got from the lead itself. So, and now click on save. So this is the full scenario. Let's just auto align it, and now we have the completed our scenario. And now let's just test it to make sure everything is working fine. And for that, I will go to the Google form and fill in some dummy data here. So I will just put in some dummy data and just hit on submit. And now we have all that data into the Google Sheets. So let's move over to Google Sheets, and here we have this data. So for this instance, I will just run this automation manually, but you can run it after every 15 minutes, 5 minutes, or as you want. And here everything looks good, and all the modules have run properly. and data formats checkout. So now let's move over to Airtable, and here we have this lead data. So we have Olivia Brown and we have this email, and then move over to Slack, and here we have this Slack message with the same lead data. And now let's move over to Gmail and let's open up this email, and here we have this email. But obviously from the first look we can say that formatting is the issue here. So we can also correct that. It's not that big issue. So the whole workflow is working perfectly fine from start to finish, and that's make.com version. You will see a 4 modules linked together: Google Sheets, Airtable, Slack, and Gmail send email. So what's nice about make.com is you can even watch the data bubbles flow through it, and you can see all the details here. In Airtable you can see all the details: how many credit it costs, how much data is passed. You can see all the details visually, and that's what's nice about make.com. It's very visual and give you a lot of control over data mapping. If you are a person who wants to see entire workflow laid out, this is a great option. The key downside of make.com is its steeper learning curve. While it's offer powerful features, beginners may find the interface and scenario building more complex compared to Zapier's linear workflows. Just a quick update on make.com. Make.com no longer charges you based on operation. They have now switched to a credit based system. And on the free plan you will get 1000 credit every month. And for most of the normal stuff, it's only 1 credit. Like for this scenario, we have 4 modules and it just costs us 9 credits. And in this Google Sheet module, it just take only 1 credit for 1 operation. So for most of the normal stuff you will do, like adding a record into Airtable or sending email, it's just 1 credit. Triggers, searches, and those basic actions are usually 1 credit too. While things like filter and routers don't cost anything. The only real difference is when you start using Make's built-in AI features. Those can take more than 1 credit, depending on how many tokens or how heavy the workflow is. So AI feature can use dynamic credits and can cost more than 1 credit per run. Now let's move to our final automation on N10. In N10, everything runs through nodes. Each step in your workflow is a node. And when you connect together on the canvas, that makes up the complete workflow. N10 has different type of triggers to start a workflow. There's a manual trigger you can use for testing. And then we have an on app event. When something happens in an external app like Airtable, Telegram. And then we have a on schedule trigger if you want to run at set times. And then we have a trigger for webhook. It triggers on receiving the HTTP request. And then we have a form submission triggers. We can create forms in N10 and pass their responses to workflows. And then we have when executed by another workflow trigger, if you want one workflow to call another. And then app specific triggers, like if I search for Google Sheets and I click here on Google Sheets, and we have on row added and on row updated. And we have many other triggers in N10 like on chat message. That's often used together with AI nodes. And when you want to process the chat input with an LLM or even building a RAG system. So for now, let's start building the N10 workflow. I will give this workflow a name and I will call it automated lead response like we did before. And we will start off by adding a Google Sheet trigger node. So I will search for Google Sheets and then I will select the action event as the on row added. And now we have to set up our credentials. So this is same as we did for the Gmail in make.com. We have to get client ID and client secrets through Google Cloud Console. I have already done this before, so I will just connect to the pre-existing one. And the mode of fetching the email is we will fetch every minute or every hour or every 15 minutes, or you can even fetch every day. So after that, I will just select the document from the list, which is our form responses. Yeah, I will select the form responses, and the sheet is the sheet is also named as the form responses. So it will trigger on row added. So now to test this Google Sheets node, I will just fill in some dummy data in the Google form. So let me insert some dummy data here, and we have the data here. Now I just hit submit, and now all this data should be in Google Sheets, and here it is, all the data in Google Sheets. Now let's go into the Google Sheets again and fetch test event, and we have all the data here in as an output. Yes, we have all the data as an output here. And now we have to add an Airtable node. So all the records will go under the Airtable. So search for Airtable, and here we will select the action event as a we will select create a record here, as we want to create a record inside Airtable. So now we have to configure the credentials here, and we have two methods here. We can even access the Airtable to auth 2, or we will access it to personal access token. So we will try to configure it through personal access token, and for this we have to go to the N10 docs, and all the details are mentioned here in N10 docs, but I will quickly walk you through this. And we have to click on personal access token, and this is the Airtable developer page. So we have to create token here, and I will give this app some name like N10 demo, and then we have to add a scope, and all these scopes are given in the N10 docs. So we will just go back and copy this data record read and search for it here, and here it is. So just select this, and what it does is it will read all the data in our Airtable. So now we will go back to the docs, and here data records write, and now the schema basis read. So I will add this scope here and select this. And once all the scopes are done, we have to give access N10 to all the resource and bases, and then hit create token. And now we have our long token here. So just copy that token and paste it into the N10. So I will just paste it here, and now click on save. Yes, the connection tested successfully. So our Airtable is now connected with N10. The operation here should be create, and I will select the base, and then we will select the table from our Airtable, and this is leads. And now we have to map each column manually, and for the name we will add the name here, and for the email we will add the email, and for the phone number we will add the phone number, and for the message I will just drag that message into this placeholder. So now if we execute this step, and here is the output. So it's run perfectly. So we have the JSON output here, and we also record has been created and showing up successfully inside Airtable. So now we have to add another node, and now we search for Slack, and here it is. So click on Slack, and we want to create a channel message here. So just scroll down, and here we have a send a message. So just select this, and we have to create a credentials for Slack. And here we also has two methods, access token and auth2. So just open the docs, and here we have this click on Slack API apps. We have to create an app and then generate a token. So create a new app, and just hit create a new app, and build from scratch, and give this app some name like N10 demo, and then select a workspace. So I will select my workspace and create an app. And this we have a overwhelming amount of information here, but just scroll down and go to auth and permissions, and then scroll down a bit, and in the scope, and if you are working with user level, then search for user token scopes, and now add some scopes here like channel read, channel write, and groups read. And now we have searched for another files read. So I think those are enough. Now install to uh, your workspace. And now click allow. And here we have this user or token. So copy that token and now go back to N10 and just paste that token here. And now click on save. And you will see connection tested successfully. And now just close that tab. And now the operation should be sent. We want to send message to Slack, and send message to, we have to select the channel, and we have to select our channel from this list. So we have all the channels here like, and we need to select lead alert. So then I will type some message like we did before, like, hey team, we just got a new lead, and then we will pull all the information for the lead, and we have to change it to expression first. So now we have name, we have the email of the lead, and then we have the phone number, and then we have the notes for the team, and which is obviously the message that we got from the lead itself. So I will just pull that message and drop it here. So now we will execute this step. So it will take few seconds, and here we have an overwhelming amount of data here, but don't worry about this data. Just go to Slack, and here we have this message, hey team, we just got a new lead, and here we have this N10 signature which we can remove easily. But for now, let's move back to N10 and add another node here, which is our final node, which is for a Gmail node here. So just search for Gmail, and we need to send a message. So select send a message here, and we need to create a new credential here. This is similar to what we did for make.com. We need a client ID and client secret that we can get from Google Cloud Console project, and the redirect URI here is given in this node itself instead of documentation. So you have to copy that redirect URI into the Google Cloud Console, and I have already connected it, so I will just select the previous account, and the operation here is send, as we want to send an email. And now we we have to add the two email which I will get from the Airtable or Google Sheet. So the two email is the leads email, and then we have the subject, and similar to the previous one, I will just write thanks for signing up. And I will add the lead name here to make it more personalized. So just drag and drop the name here, and don't confuse this JSON output. Just drag and drop the whatever the on the left hand side as an input. And now in the message body, I will just paste this. So just make it big, and I will now fetch the leads email name here, and then we need to get the message as well. So I will just put in the inverted commas and fetch the message as well, and now this is done. And now we execute this step. So once we execute this step, and the node is executed perfectly, so now we go to our Gmail, and here we have the email received, and we also got the N10 signature here as well. And the formatting is not good. We have to do a lot of formatting here, but this is working perfectly fine. So let's go back to the canvas. So this is the complete workflow. Now I will go ahead and quickly add the details into the form again. So we can watch the full workflow run from start to finish. And as soon as I submit the data, the sheets updated right away with the new entry. And now I will execute the workflow in N10. Now you can actually see the data moving step by step through each node. First the trigger fires, then the data flow into Airtable, then into Slack, and finally into Gmail. Once the execution is complete, we can check the results. In Airtable, the records has been created perfectly with all the fields mapped correctly. And now over in Slack, the notification has already popped up for the team with the lead details. And now moving to Gmail, the email has been sent to the potential client, and when we open it up, all the information is there, exactly as expected. Now everything has run super smooth from start to finish, which is always the most satisfying part of testing and automation. So the N10 workflow is almost identical to others, but instead of tasks or modules, you have got nodes. And if you ever want to self-host N10, you can run it on your own server and control everything, which is very powerful. One key downside of N10 is its setup complexity. Unlike Zapier or Make.com, it often requires self-hosting, which can be challenging for non-technical users. But we have a video on that. And other downside is steeper learning curve for advanced workflows. In this previous workflow, we have just 4 nodes, which is quite simple. But when you have multiple nodes, when you have to deal with HTTP requests, AI nodes, or multi-agent system, it's going to take some effort to build that kind of automations, as they can be challenging. So it's going to take some effort to build that kind of automations. But N10 is highly flexible. But building and debugging the complex automations like custom nodes or JavaScript function, they can be harder without coding knowledge. But for this video, that's it. Same automation and in 3 different platforms, side by side. And I hope you not only know how to build these automation, but also know the difference between N10, Make, and Zapier and real power behind this. And if you enjoyed this breakdown and want me to go deeper into the advanced automation, let me know in the comments. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. Alright, thanks for watching and I will see you in the next one.